What's up? I'm sitting under a playground facility, if you can tell by the random square. I guess it spins. I'm making this video because I have nothing better to do. And because I have literally no one to talk to. Okay. Sorry to my friends if they ever see this. That's a lie. But it's quarantine, man. Well, are we still calling it that, or is it lockdown, or I don't know. I can't even think of a sentence for a good amount of time straight. I guess that's why they edit YouTube videos, don't they? See, since I'm just recording on my phone, directly on the app, I'm like, oh, fuck. I'm nervous. What do I say? See, I didn't even want to curse, but there we go. Maybe I'll edit this. Probably not. I'm not at that level yet. Let's just say that. So I got my coffee here. Got some water over there. My bike's way over there. I just left it because I had 2 cups and I was like, fuck it. It's an old bike. No one's gonna take it, hopefully. I don't know. I feel like a little brat for making this video to begin with. But I just feel like I need to talk about some things. It's nice though, at least. The weather is kind of the summer storm vibe without the actual storm. There's some hardcore thunder earlier, but just a couple drops of rain. I'm feeling good now that I got a little bit of exercise and somebody was biking on by. I was like, who's that? That was so lame. So yes, the things that I've come on here to address. The hard part is talking about what I actually want to talk about because it hurts. And when it hurts, then I get sad and I cry. And right now I feel like I'm kind of low-key killing it with the cool girl vibe. Maybe not really, but just a little bit. I hate myself. Not really, but sometimes. Yeah, sometimes I just feel so lost in quarantine or whatever we're calling it. It's just constantly being in my room. I mean, I move around. I'll go to the coffee shop with a mask, do my homework there. I'm lucky enough to have another room that I can use as my studio. But the walls are thin and my family's just fucking explosive. Constantly. Oh, shit. Right as I said that, explosive, exploded. Alla italiana, right? Because that's the whole reason for explosivity. Is that a word? I just didn't picture myself being here, where I am. I know nobody pictured this pandemic, but I was really after going through a year and a half, just about a year and a half of the hardest time of my life, I was going on this road trip, I went on the solo road trip, 12 weeks across the U.S. And I didn't even make it out of the South before the pandemic hit, which is such a bummer. If you're from the South, you know what I mean. It's just inescapable. Oh, God. But anyway, I made it to San Antonio, Texas, just outside in a place called Bulverde. And although I guess it would actually be pronounced Bulverde, but America, we know how it is. So, yeah, I was on my way to California, man. That's, like, so depressing to say. Like, I was on my way to California. Like, I was gonna go to San Francisco, where my aunt lives. Or, she lives in Albany, just outside. And then I was gonna go north, maybe Washington, maybe even Canada. Maybe go loop-de-loop around, keep driving, I didn't know. I was just figuring things out, and I felt really myself while I was on the road. I felt like I was really connected to the world around me, and I was learning a lot, even if some of it was the hard way. But then I had to come home and, like, everything changed. Do you know what I have? Let me show you this. I have AirPods. And I just got a new Mac. And I kind of hate myself for it. Like, the AirPods, to be fair, came with the Mac because of the student deal, and to be fair, I got it because I'm in school, and my old computer was, it's like 3 or 4 years, no, just 3 years old, and it wasn't working well enough, because I have to use, like, Photoshop for my photography class. But I just feel fake, and it's not just because of that, it's just the suburbs. Like, they're inescapable. There's all these little houses that look the same next to each other, and all these happy little families that aren't that happy. Like, half of them aren't, because the divorce rate is 50%, and, like, I don't know, with the way things are going, I feel like 1/4 of people's parents get sick before they turn 18, and then another 1/4 dies. And I totally made up the statistics, but, I mean, probably not that far off. I just want to be back where I'm meant to be, you know? Like, I'm smiling or, like, laughing, but I'm actually crying on the inside. It just feels beyond just my situation. The whole pandemic just feels like a dystopia that doesn't exist, but it is. This is the world we live in. And I watched Rick and Morty at the beginning of, or a month ago. There's, like, so many. At first it was, like, the beginning of quarantine, then, like, last phase, and then this phase, but now it's, like, how many phases have happened? Like, I don't even know. It's just, there's no names for them anymore. It's just the eternal, what's that movie called? It's, like, the eternal sunshine of the, I want to say Holy Grail, but that's not it. It just blows. I know so many of us are feeling this way too, and we're not even admitting it. Or we don't know how to talk about it in this day and age. There's a big thing that's been coming about the thought police. It's so true. Like, anything you post on social media, YouTube, TikTok too, or anything, it's just like, oh, you can't say that. Oh, how dare you, blah, blah, blah. So much criticism for anything. It's actually ridiculous. We're all sucked in this vortex of, like, a non-existent existence. Like, we're living online. We're fat. We're not connected to one another. See, I envy this little girl. Because she doesn't know anything. She's gonna have a vague memory of this one day. Be like, yeah, I was 4 when the pandemic happened, you know. I remember, like, we went to trails a lot. That's when I learned how to bike. But anyway, I got the new blah, blah, blah fancy floating car. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's a good age to be in the pandemic. It just, okay, because I didn't finish my sentence, as I do. Because I have more freedom than, like, my brother, per se. But I also have a brain enough on me that I'm not going out and hanging out with people without a mask or social distancing. Trying not to. Honestly, I do forget sometimes, which is, like, really shitty, but it just happens. But I wish I were at least 21. I could go get a drink. No, you probably can't in the pandemic anyway. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. So, I kind of, like, been through a lot. Quick summary. My dad got sick when I was 14. He died when I was 18. In that same year, in the following year, I put on a lot of problems, like drug addiction, didn't have a home for a little bit. Very small time. I'm not going to exaggerate that one. I did end up sleeping on the floor in my new place, which was tough too. Just a lot. I'm not even going to get into it all, but in like those 4 years that I was still a growing child, becoming an adult, my dad was just getting sicker and dying, was really discouraging as a young girl, or as a young woman. And then he died, and then I had a year and a half that was difficult, and then I finally was like, all right, I'm leaving. I'm going to go find my joy. And I did. I mean, it wasn't a perfect trip, but I found bliss. I found a new level of understanding of the world and who I am. I questioned so much, and I gained so much knowledge, and I made a lot. I created and produced a lot from my heart into the world. Excuse me. And then the pandemic just fucking hit. It just came and carried me away back home like an abusive ex or something. Like, you finally get away from all the pain that had been caused, and then it's like, psych, you'll never get away, bitch. That's how I feel. I used to say something that was pretty awful, that people would always be like, oh, it gets better, it'll get better. And I would just look at them, and it was like the only moment, because I used to be super positive all the time, and it was the only moment that I allowed myself to be, like, real, I guess. Not to say I wasn't real other times, but I really, really tried to put on a face. But when I would say this thing, like, I wouldn't. And I would just tell them, yeah, well, it's been 5 years that things were supposed to get better, and they just keep getting worse. Like, how can you tell me that? And finally, like, they were getting better. And when I say getting better, I mean, like, consistently, a consistent contentment, a little alliteration, and healthy habits. Because I had good times, like, all throughout my dad's illness, and after he died, I had a blast, even though I was, like, suffering on a day-to-day basis, hourly even, like, and I was really depressed, but I still, like, made the most of things and tried to go out and have fun, which in the end bit me in the ass with the whole addiction thing, but yeah. So I'm trying not to have that mindset anymore of, oh, well, things are supposed to get better, but it's been 6 years. Last time I checked, 6.5 now? Like, no, I mean, come on, I have to move forward and be grateful and find the joy in life, because there's so much. I have a beautiful little puppy at home. He's not little, actually. He's not a puppy at all. He's 10, but he's my baby. And he's the sweetest. We really have a bond, me and him. Anyone that knows my dog, they know, like, we got lucky. Again, I have space to do art. I'm sitting in this pretty new playground. There's still some stickers on these things. And around me there's nice green trees. Most trees are green, but there's a lot of green around me. There's some pink. That tree has pink in it. Matches my shirt, actually. Kind of. It's a little more purpley. Yeah, it's a nice day out. I have a nice yellow bike. I have AirPods and a MacBook. That's the thing, like, this world is just too... This world, as in the town that I live in, it's just very... I can't think of a better term. Vanilla. It's boring. Like, it's boring and it feels very false to me. And it's not just my town. That's what I worry. I mean, I know there's good places in the world, but I worry that it's... I mean, I'm not worried. It's a fact. It's a proven fact that the real pandemic before coronavirus, before COVID-19 was and is technology addiction. Like social media and even people, millennials and Gen Z and now Gen A, which is a generation alpha, I don't know, the next kids after me. I think they're like 7 and younger, maybe 9. I don't know. But we're all of us, like, we'll look things up on Google if we don't know the answer instead of thinking critically. And that's the whole thing with the cancel culture and outrage culture and thought police online. The political polarities. And I don't know if this is just America or if it's like across the world, just in different ways. That's why I want to get out of here. Not just Cary. Sure, I want to go to California and I'd like to go to school there. I think it'd be easier than going, per se, in Morocco or somewhere, even in Italy, which I speak Italian, but I think it would still be very difficult, totally different system. But eventually I want to, or I might even skip college and go explore the world and actually understand and humble myself. That's the thing I hate the most, is how unhumble Americans are. And I'm half American, so I hate half of myself. But then I also hate the other Italian side, because we're like, for dramatic effect, explosive. Well, 17 minutes. Well, 18. Pretty good video. Kind of. I feel good about it, at least. I feel better having talked to my non-existent audience, aka myself, because what's looking back at me is myself, and who I'm hearing is myself, so if somebody ever sees this, good for you. I hope you gain something from this, or some, at the very least, some form of entertainment, some realness. I'm thinking hypothetically, if there was anyone that saw this, what is a message I can give to them, to you? I'm feeling pretty negative right now. I guess the best I got for you is exercise. It'll make you feel a lot better. Yeah. Journal every day. Whatever. We've all been there and heard that. Oh, yeah. Watch The Midnight Gospel on Netflix. That's a good-ass show.